Hey everyone, Once Bitten here. So I had a 3,000 point Warhammer game, and really the inspiration for it was reading the Storm of Magic bestiary and loving the army composition rules for Storm of Magic. So I wanted to play a regular game, but be able to build lists using monsters and such that the Storm of Magic allows you to do. So what we did is the guy at the game store and I just decided this morning to play a 3,000 point game, and 20% of your list could come from stuff in the Storm of Magic, which is really, if you look at the math, the same way that they build theirs. They just kind of look at it differently. So anyway, it's my Bretonnians versus Warriors of Chaos, pitched battle, 3,000 points with some monsters thrown in. So starting at the far left, he's got Chaos Sorcerer Lord on a mana core. I can't tell you his build exactly. I want to say he has the Chaos Rune Sword, where it's +1 attack, +1 strength. I don't know what else he has. Whatever, that's him. He's got a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, or maybe Giant Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, whatever that is. Love the model he's using. I think it's beautiful. Got some Marauders there. His Battle Standard Bearer is in the middle, and he is, even though it looks like he's on foot, technically he's on a demonic steed. Don't know his build. I just don't remember it. There in the woods on the far left, he's got 3 Dragon Ogres, and he's using different models for that. Obviously, they have great weapons, just beautiful, I think. He's got a War Altar behind the woods, Chaos Warriors with, I think, the Flaming Banner. He's got some more Marauders here on the right, and in that unit, he's got an Exalted on a, it's not a Juggernaut, that's a Juggernaut model, but it's a demonic steed. Anyway, 3 more Dragon Ogres with great weapons, which are beautiful against cavalry, obviously. And then he's got 5 Chaos Knights. So there's a close-up of his what he's using for Dragon Ogres. And I think it's beautiful, well-themed, and a lot of fun. So I tell you, I had a lot of fun putting this much stuff on the table and being able to use some models that I've recently painted. I actually finished painting them just so I could use them in games like this. So there's kind of a look down the line, maybe a slightly better look. And so left to right, we've got a Trebuchet on the hill. I'm using a Great Bull Taurus, and no upgrades to any of these things. So it's just naked, so to speak. Great Bull Taurus, 12 Knights of the Realm full command, 8 Knights Errant with the Standard Discipline and my Monster Killing Lord. So he's got Heroic Killing Blow, Tress of Isolde, Heartwood Lance. Got 5 Fast Cav, another Trebuchet. Here on the far left is a Griffon, again no upgrades. Big block of Men-at-Arms, full command. Level 2 with Lore of Beasts. Let's see, 10 Knights of the Realm with my Battle Standard Bearer, who's got the same build I always use. A level 4 with Lore of Life. I think she has Crown of Command. Yeah, she has Crown of Command, and I don't know what else. I just don't remember for this list. Another big block of Men-at-Arms full command, 3 Peg Knights, and a young Forest Dragon. So again, no upgrades. So I was able to get 3 monsters on the table really because they're relatively cheap, and they probably look, that dragon especially looks tougher than it is. The young dragon stats are not all that spectacular. So Vanguard Movement, I move my Pegasus Knights over and move my Fast Cav up, and we go to Warriors of Chaos turn 1. So his Dragon Ogres grab the wall. He moves, as you can see, and him getting his general over here on my flank was really just poorly done by me. My Great Bull Taurus can't handle any of those 2 things on the left. His Lord on the mana core, or that Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. It's just going to get chewed to bits. So he's really no help, and so I would love for the Lord just to charge my Trebuchet and take himself out of the game for a turn or 2. But otherwise, I'm just going to have to let him charge that unit of Knights and hope that my Steadfast with high leadership nearby can hold him up. Otherwise, just we go to Brett turn 1. So overall, I mean, it's a typical strategy. I move up enough that I'm hoping not to get charged on his turn. This, by the way, both those units of Knights charged his Marauder units, and both of them had a failed charge. So, yeah, I was hoping in doing that I would be out of pretty much out of sight of his lord on mana core, and that would have saved those units, probably blown through his marauder units, or at least, if not this turn, next turn. And the plan was to angle the fast cav on the right so that his dragon ogres couldn't really countercharge should we get held up, and overall just a fail. So thought that was somewhat unfortunate. My men-at-arms go into the building. My dragon lines up to lay the flame template down on those Chaos Knights. Being a forest dragon, that his flaming attack is only strength 2, but it's a -3 to armor saves. I was hoping to get lucky, and he failed to wound any of them. And my opponent, said afterward that it would have been much smarter to wait till I was in combat and then use it, and I agree. I'm just not used to using dragons, so there you have it. So we go to Warriors of Chaos turn 2. So on the right, his units just kind of get away from my dragon, and all that is come around the house. His lord gets the charge into the flank of my knights. That's no surprise. As soon as I failed the charge, I knew that would happen. His marauders get into the front of my general's unit. Really no surprise. As soon as I failed the charge, I kind of knew that was probably going to happen. The ones on the left, they're going to be steadfast on a 10, so they're not going to be loving life, but they should hold. My general's unit I'm a little bit nervous about. I'm not going to be steadfast. The BSB is nowhere nearby. I really, really need to hold there. Here on the right-hand side, just a little bit of a closer look. And by the way, I think he tried to charge my men-at-arms in the house, and he had a failed charge as well, I think. So just other views. His Dragon Ogre Shaggoth on the top, it tried to charge my Knight of the Realm unit along with its general, and it had a failed charge. That's why he's not trying to hang back with it. It just, failed it. So when all's said and done, you could look on the top right, his Dragon Ogres that went into my fast cav. I held because I didn't want him redirecting and combo charging into my general's unit, so he killed the fast cav, and I'm okay with that. His general into the flank of my knight unit. One combat I was steadfast. He only killed one knight, which is insane. Absolutely insane. And in my general's unit, those marauders only killed one knight. But of course I have an exalted with them as well. So I think my general got into a challenge with the exalted, so that's why he wasn't killing knights and he wasn't able to win my general. I wasn't able to get killing blow on him. So it's pretty much just a pillow fight. And then his strength 3 marauders weren't able to do a whole lot of harm to me. So I lost combat by 2. I had one chance to roll an 8, and I made it. So we go where else are we at? Oh, his Dragon Ogres, after killing my fast cav, turned to face towards my general's unit, and we go to Bretonnia in turn 2. So on the left, I thought it was fun to have the monsters on the board. The Great Bull Taurus and my Griffon both charge into the rear and side flank of the Marauder unit, which I thought was very nice. Men-at-Arms and my Knights of the Realm unit charged into his warrior unit there around the fence, which I thought was very nice. And my Men-at-Arms step out of the building to protect the flank of my Knights of the Realm. So there is a close-up there. Very excited for that combat. Yeah, I'm sorry, there's an expanded view and some more pretty pictures there. I thought that turned out nicely. Both the Peg Knights, when I flew them behind his Chaos Knights before, were in a single file line because that's the only way they would fit, so I didn't want to charge them in single file. And my dragon was facing the wrong way. So they're just lined up to help out with rear charges on my next turn should they be needed. So I believe this is after combat. I could be wrong, but you can see the buffs on there. You can see he's down to 15 models, so obviously killed 5. At the time I remember thinking that I really should have killed a lot more. I got the plus 4 toughness buff on my men-at-arms, so he wasn't able to get a whole lot of combat resolution there. But I wasn't able to beat him in combat enough to break him. And they have that standard, I think it's the Rapturous standard or something like that, so any double and any 1, and they have insane courage, and he rolled that. So in this combat, very predictably, my general's unit with those 2 monsters just tore up the Marauder unit. easily broken. I think he was on Insane Courage, ran it down. The general killed quite a few of my Knights of the Realm, but I was still steadfast and on a 10, so I passed it, and then I was able to combat reform and face him. Those guys are not going to win that combat, I know, but the longer I hold his general up, the better. And here's another angle of this epic fail. I killed 5 of his guys, so I can't complain too much, but I remember thinking that I expected to kill more. I felt like I was rubber lancing just a little bit. So we go to Warriors of Chaos, turn 3. If we look on the right, his Marauder unit with his Exalted charges my men-at-arms. His Chaos Knights kind of turn around and go back around the house to try to help out with the combat there. He had brought him down low, and then I think he kind of realized that he wasn't, swinging all the way behind my lines is going to take him away from the action. So anyway, he is, as you can see him. There's maybe a better angle. Yeah, the Dragon Ogres that had beaten my my fast cav were able to get the charge of my general's unit. Again, they're strength 7. I decided to stay. I didn't want to take the chance of fleeing and then getting charged by his by anything else and maybe getting run down. My hope here is that my general is going to go first. If he can get heroic killing blow, even just take one of them out, he may do okay. And I'm only strength 4, so with re-rolling rolls to wound, I have a decent chance of maybe getting a couple heroic killing blow on him. His War Altar charges my Great Bull Taurus. He didn't have any illusions of being able to kill it, but at the same time, he didn't think I'd be able to kill or break it, and so he's hoping just to tie up that monster until his Shaggoth can come around and take care of him, which I think is a good plan. After combat, he beat my men-at-arms, and he decided not to pursue, and instead he just turned around so that he wouldn't get rear charged by my Peg Knights and my Dragon. So my men-at-arms took a bunch of dangerous train tests, but otherwise came through it relatively unscathed. And we're still locked in combat there on the left with my BSB's unit. And I'm getting nervous that I don't need him to be able to start countercharging me. I need to break his unit, and it's tough to do. So predictably, it was kind of a pillow fight over here. I was able to reform the Taurus, so at least he's not in my flank. And over here, yeah, his general, amazing. I am making so many ward saves on my Knights of the Realm. I'm just sticking around. Just amazing. So they're still holding out with his general. My general's unit got broken in combat. Luckily, they weren't run down, but I'm not in a wonderful position there. And obviously, I didn't get any heroic killing blow on those guys. Matter of fact, I didn't do any wounds on them. I think he just fluffed all of his attacks. So there's another look. When my general's unit broke, the Griffon failed its panic test, and it ran. It's near the ruins at the top of this picture. So Bretonnian turn 3. We're only bottom of the 3rd, and I feel like there's been tons of fighting going on so far. Starting on the lower left, my men-at-arms rally. We're still locked in combat there in the middle, locked in combat on the far left, or upper left anyway. Over here, my general rallies. And my Griffon also rallies. I just didn't have him turned around in this picture. So during the shooting phase, I was able to land a rock on the head of those Dragon Ogres. And now, in hindsight, I don't remember how this had happened, but basically there were already, I want to say, 2 wounds on one of them. And so the 2 partial hits, I rolled those first and was able to take 2 wounds off. So one of them died that way, and then the strength 10 hit doing D6 wounds killed off another one. And that was huge. I feel like at this point in the game, the trebuchets haven't been doing a whole lot, and that probably saved my general right there. So very, very fortunate. Very happy to see that. The other trebuchet tried to do something similar, and it landed on my knights' heads and killed however many, 1 or 2 of them. And here we see my Peg Knights coming in the back of the warrior unit. So I feel this is my best chance to break them. And after combat, you notice I'm not losing any more knights. With his general Chaos Lord on the Mana Core, no wounds on my knights. Him fluffing hits and me making ward saves is, I mean, I'm not going to complain about my luck right there. I'm no longer steadfast, but actually I think the last 2 rounds of combat, I'm winning combat. So, kind of funny. So we go to Warriors turn 4. If his Dragon Ogres get to the flank of my Knights, the Chaos Knights weren't able to make the wheel to get around the house and still be able to... Once he made the wheel to get around the house, he would have hit his own Marauder unit. So they were kind of locked out of combat, so he just moved them up so that next time he can charge. You can see, by the way, that when my Pegasus Knights charged in, it was still kind of an epic fail. I'm whittling that unit down, but with that banner, he's just sticking through everything, and it's going to really, really hurt me pretty soon. So there's just another angle. I don't love all those strength 7 attacks coming in. That's going to hurt with the those Dragon Ogres there. His Shaggoth comes in the back of my Great Bull Taurus, and I am not going to be long for the fight there. I think that thing is tough. And let's see over here, he decides to take his remaining Dragon Ogre and go into my General's unit just to see if he can get lucky and just to kind of have fun. This isn't a real serious game. He wasn't, it wasn't going to be fun to try to conserve points. So the Shaggoth tears up my Bull Taurus. The Griffon fails its panic test again. It is the most scared Griffon I think it's ever existed. Over here, his general finally mops up my remaining 2 Knights, and my general, yet again, can't do anything. So we put just 1 wound on the Dragon Ogre, and in all honesty, I think that was one of my horses. Just really getting frustrated there. Over here, you can see he killed 3 Knights, and I felt very fortunate that that's all he did with his Dragon Ogres. You can see at the top, he also killed 2 of my Peg Knights out of the 3, so that was really hurt. He's really, he had a good round of combat with those Chaos Warriors. So we go to my turn. The Men-at-Arms come to the flank of the Dragon Ogres, and I think with combat res, and I think there's only 1 of them still touching my Knights now. So that should really, really help. I charge my Dragon into the rear of the Chaos Knights because I didn't want to take the chance that his unit would hold yet again because of his banner and have those Chaos Knights come into my flank. So I don't think my Dragon has a great chance of winning there. I don't need him to win. I need him to hold him up for a turn. So that's what I'm hoping to accomplish there. Here's rooting for the young Dragon. So another look at it. Here's this side of the board. Again, there's not a whole lot going on. My Damsel's just kind of keeping out of people's charge arc. General's still fighting on. He is so weak this game, it's just pathetic. So we go to magic phase, and I cast a spell to regrow my Peg Knights, and I get it with a miscast, Infinite Force. So I was able to regrow. I rolled a 6, so I was able, on the D3 I rolled 3 wounds plus 1, so I got both of my Peg Knights back, which I was happy to see, and then blew up half the unit, or whatever. You can see what's missing there. Just killed a ton of my own Knights through the miscast, but what that did is it took his Dragon Ogres out of combat, so those strength 7 attacks weren't going to come at me anymore. And the way I thought you played that was that he should have shifted his Dragon Ogres so they could remain, at least one would remain in contact. Not that I wanted that, but that's the way I thought you played it. And he thought that no, that wasn't the case because my Men-at-Arms had charged the Dragon Ogres. They were stuck where they were and couldn't stay in this combat. So that's fine with me. Went with that. That's one of those things that was bad luck, the getting the miscast, and yet ended up kind of helping me. So you can see over here, my general, nobody's doing any wounds on that Dragon Ogre. I mean, this heroic killing blow general is epically failing all game long. I'm down to my champion left in the Knights Errant unit. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That last picture was trying to show the trebuchet doing something. I don't know what he did. Whatever it was, my Knight. I think what that was showing was the trebuchet killed a Knight Errant unit, and then the Dragon Ogre finished off the champion. So, but 1 more wound to the Dragon Ogre. He's got 2 wounds left, I believe, and I'm really frustrated with my general. But after combat, I was finally able to break these guys, and I pursued with my BSB's unit to get out of the charge arc of those Chaos Knights and the Marauders, and I was able to do it. Now the Chaos Knights are locked in combat with my Dragon, so that was kind of a moot point. Regardless, I was very happy with that. I just reformed the men-at-arms. They're at the bottom. I won combat, but the Dragon Ogres held. They weren't able to reform, though. And there's my heroic young dragon. He goes in there, kills one of them. They do 3 wounds back. I think he's sitting on 1 wound. And you know what? He did his job. It ended up that I didn't need him, but I didn't know that before. So happy enough with how that worked out. Not happy with this. General's starting to make me mad. So Warriors of Chaos, turn 5. So what this picture's showing is this Marauder unit declared a charge against my men-at-arms, and I fled, and that exalted hero, he failed a dangerous terrain test when they charged my men-at-arms in front of this house, and he took a wound, and then when he charged my men-at-arms here, he failed another dangerous terrain test and died. That's just funny. That's a funny thought. I'm sure that was frustrating to my opponent. So when those guys charged, I think I rolled a 2. I mean, just nothing in my flee, and then his War Altar charged, and I rolled enough to flee through my unit and get to safety. So, actually, let me take that back. When he charged with his Marauders, I held, and then he charged with his War Altar to help out in the combat, and that's when I fled as you can see him. So anyway, he moves his Dragon Ogre Shaggoth up on the far left side. His General charges my Trebuchet in the bottom left. And I'm okay with that. Over here, my General finally decides to kill the last Dragon Ogre, so I thought that was nice of him. And over here, these guys kill my Dragon. That made me sad. That Dragon, I was rooting for him. And my men-at-arms win combat yet again against the Dragon Ogres, and yet again with the General's leadership, they were able to pass their break test, but he was not able yet again to reform. So, yeah, that would have been nice to be able to kill him. So Bretonnian turn 5, my men-at-arms rally, my Peg Knights at the top. I take that back. I don't know if they're charging his War Altar or not. I just don't remember. It doesn't look like they're there. Oh, no. They had overrun last time, so they were just flying back around to face the battlefield. And my General charges into the rear of this giant ogre Shaggoth, or whatever he's called. Now, the way he's been performing all game, this is really risky, because if I don't kill him first, he is likely going to slap me around. I've got a 1-up armor save, and of course, I don't have a ward save anymore, and that could get really ugly, but you know what? That's the General's job, so that's what he does. And I don't know if that's after combat or before. So after combat, General easily destroys... Oh wait, I'm sorry. This is during my shooting phase. The Trebuchet blows itself up. And my General gets a heroic killing blow on the Shaggoth, so I was breathing a sigh of relief. And after an abysmal performance all game, finally happy with what he was able to do. My men-at-arms finally broke his Dragon Ogres in combat and overran and ran high enough to get a charge into his Marauder unit. Which, I mean, they're probably going to die, but I'd rather get the charge than be charged. So on his turn, his General comes into the rear of that unit, and now I know I'm going to lose him. But I didn't. I was able to get off +4 toughness on him, so he didn't kill too many. He beat him in combat. They broke. He decided not to charge with his General. I don't know why not to charge. He decided not to pursue with his General, but I'm not sure why not. But anyway, he didn't. I got away from his Marauders. And you can see, by the way, the General's on foot, because my Marauders were able to kill the Mana Core, who was already pretty weakened. So we go to Bretonnian turn 6, last turn of the game. I was going to charge his General just to have an epic ending to the game. I really think he had a good chance of killing me. So his War Altar charged my BSB's unit. They were just going to hold me up. No, we weren't going to win anything there. So I charged my General into the rear of the War Altar just to try to grab a few points to see if I could get him. And